What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the AM, guys. Welcome back to 5 Minute Rants. I'm your host, Michael Abernathy, and welcome back to the show predicated on the journey of life and business, everybody. Well, guys, today I want to talk about talent without work. And I think this is such a super important subject, and here is why. Everybody is gifted some way, somehow, in some shape or form. The amount of gifting you have varies as an individual, but that's not what I'm talking about. I first want to set the stage with that everybody has a gift, okay? Second, that gift is wasted if you're not going to work, if you're not going to cultivate that gift in your life, if you're not going to continue to grow that gifting and add work to it. And the thing about gifts, we generally tend to be lazy in what we are gifted in because it is easy. Part of our human nature and part of what we do is we take short-term routes, right? We have short-term thinking. What is the easiest route to take, right? What is the easiest route to take? And if you think about how this is, when you go to pick dishes out of a cabinet and you have a glass that you have to wash by hand because it's made out of crystal, and a glass you can just throw straight in the dishwasher, 99% of the time, you're taking the glass you can throw straight in the dishwasher. Why? Less work. It's easy. It is the easiest path, the path of least resistance. And if you don't know anything about the path of least resistance, I would encourage you to look it up and read about it. So I'm saying this because our giftings naturally are the paths of least resistance to us, and we don't cultivate them. My piano teacher once told me this. He told me, Michael, you are not the most gifted person to ever play the piano that's come across, that I've come across, that I've tutored, that I've taught, or anything like that. But he told me, you will win and be better than most because you have the heart to work for it. Think about that. I was going to beat a lot of gifted people, and I did. I went on to beat a lot of gifted people at a lot of things in music because I had the heart to work for it. And they had the path of least resistance. I'm gifted at it. I don't need to practice as much, okay? That being said, I want to say this. Attitude plus heart wins over IQ or giftings, okay? I'm going to say that again. Attitude and heart win almost every time over giftings or over gifts. Why? If you don't cultivate your gift and you don't cultivate your talent, you're wasting it. Because even though you're gifted, it still requires work to progress and move forward and grow. And if you're not going to put in that work, you're not going to tend the soil around your gift, and you're not going to prune the tree, and you're not going to grow it, it's not going to bear fruit for you later on down the road. It's not going to produce the things in your life that you thought it was because the tree is easier to grow because you have some better soil for it naturally, right? But the soil and the farmer who's got to work real hard to have great soil around his trees to actually produce fruit and to actually produce the harvest, his trees probably, if he's putting in the effort and work, are going to be better than yours, okay? And I think this is so important because if you haven't read about the path of least resistance and you don't know that, and you don't know how in human nature that's what we want to do, and that's like where we take to, you should, because that's part of the whole we avoid pain and seek pleasure. The path of least resistance is pleasure, and it's short-term thinking versus delayed gratification. And short-term versus long-term thinking are two radically different things. And short-term is very, very destructive versus long-term is actually where the most health you'll find in your life across all areas, your finances, your physical health, your relationships, your work, your property, all the 5 main pillars of life. That's where you'll find healthiness, and all of those is the long-term thinking. And normally where you're gifted at, you don't put in the work. So for instance, you think of CPAs. Cool, CPAs. They're great with numbers. They're great with money. Yeah, they're more gifted at those things. They're more inclined to that side of the world. But guess what? Most CPAs don't have their books in order. Think about that. It's like growing up. My brother used to work in car shops a lot, and it was always the body shop guy who drove the crappiest looking car because he was always fixing everybody else's, but he never cultivated the gift in his own life, and so he always drove the beater car. It's the shoemaker's kids don't have shoes, but the shoemaker's gifted to make shoes. So why doesn't his own family have shoes? Because if you don't cultivate your talent with work, you're not going to get any return from it. Anyways, guys, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.